Hello, everybody. It's me, Tim.
And me, Greg.
It's been a long time since we've been able to make a video. I think a year or so since the last time we were together. We just got up around like 5 minutes ago. Whatever. Kind of some inspiration in life. Gotta keep doing something. Everybody has their work, has their vices. I just feel smiley, at peace. I call it my bohemian lifestyle. That's a term from Christopher Hitchens. He is one of my main influences besides Edgar Allan Poe as a writer. And, he's the one that made me actually truly think outside my box. He's the one that made me embrace reality and science and to be no specter to dumbness or unfairness. And you might as well do it while you're alive because the grave will supply any wasted effort because you'll be dead. But another influence of mine is Edgar Allan Poe. It's what really led me deeper into my emotions to catch what the story should be about, what feelings you can get from it, what's so special about it. But I have other favorite writers too. One of my favorite sites in the world is fan fiction. I love reading people's different point of views on stories or like different situations with fictional characters. Like, say you get like one couple, you put those two different people with other people, make a story about it. Uh, or I just get inspiration from people that I talk to. I work at Home Depot part time, one of my side gigs, and I just get to meet a lot of contractors. I get to meet a lot of cool people. You get the sad ones, you get the mean ones, you get the grumpy ones, you get the Karens, the ones that want the price that the menu shows, but it's not actually that price anymore. You just meet a crew of characters. Same with your coworkers. Some are cool, some are fake, some are good to be there, and others are just super lazy, and you wish they weren't. But yeah, it's not bad. It's just a decent way that I try to draw inspiration to my stories or what I write or characters I create. I'll base it around a few different styles. Maybe some fictional characters I admire or some fictional worlds. Even in American literature, just iconic characters that you can draw inspiration from. One of my favorites are The Great Gatsby, Jay Gatsby, and Holden Caulfield from Catcher in the Rye. Nick was cool from The Great Gatsby. He was cool, but I don't know. He felt like an unreliable narrator because he's gonna be biased towards Gatsby. He was his only true friend. It's just kind of the way I write. I hear somebody's story and I want to write it in a third point of view based on their emotions and the way I think it went down. And sometimes I'll do that with my characters. Some events you hear about, like say the killing of Emmett Till. You wish somebody would have saved him, or just any historical figure. You could create literally anything with your imagination, and sometimes writer blocks suck, and sometimes terrible things happen in life, and you go through struggles and you lose any motivation. But maybe all it takes is just one spark to bring it back. And I think the best advice I was ever given came from Stephen King, and I heard it from an interview he was doing online. He said, you don't have to rush it. You have all the time in the world. And another great one is Charles Bukowski, the rebel poet. He said, his way of writing was the art of do not try. If you have to force it, it's not genuine, then don't try. If you're not feeling it, don't try. It's nothing. Pick up the pen later. Maybe when you hit a shot into a brandy or a big fat cigar, you're gonna feel motivated. Um, and Greg, not yet, but he has written a lot of essays and he has written brochures for colleges. So, and a paper he just recently got his master's. So I'm stuck with the only bachelor's for now, but I'll take it. Why don't you tell them about your writing style? You might say it's methodical or for school or just whatever writing experiences you had that you wrote or published. Why don't you tell them?
Okay. Well, my master's was just really quick. Was in Homeland Security, and a lot of the writing I did was just a lot of researching and pretty much the terrorism parts of the world. That's what I was writing about, and just basic researching and look at all the different scholars and kind of see what they were doing and just kind of put it together in my mind as well. I'm not a writer. No, I would love to be a writer. One of the things I do like to write about is I have some relatives that are from our ancestors that are from like Scotland and London, England, Norway, and I've always thought about writing something that kind of comes from that kind of period, back in the 1600s or something like that for history, and just kind of come up with. I like mysteries. That's one of the big things I did. I started reading actually when I was a kid. I don't have a favorite author or anybody like that. I just didn't get into that, but I did read a lot of
Well,
mystery type books.
speaking of that, you were mentioning earlier in our conversation off video that your mother was very into music, so surely you heard a lot of music growing up, and music is another form of writing, especially the lyrics, so that has to count for something.
Yeah, actually, yeah, my mom used to, well, she got really involved with the music back in the 70s, and she, knew, like the history of like Led Zeppelin and that group, and she got really into it. She basically read almost every magazine that was out there. And I remember when I was a kid, she would actually give me some of the albums, and have the lyrics, and I would follow the lyrics as the song was playing. And that kind of got me into, oh, this is interesting. It sounds like a poem,
You know,
some of the songs.
maybe that's what led to your good attention to detail or
Yeah,
good eye. You never
I
know.
think that's what part of it was because I did read a lot of the lyrics to the songs and kind of I actually had a there was one time I was in school we had actually had to write a song or kind of take a song and then kind of put it in your own words and keep it in the theme.
Yeah.
And the song that I picked was Lionel Richie. I'm
Please
not.
tell me it wasn't Save Me.
No, it was Hello.
Hmm. Mm.
No, it was actually Hello. The song Hello.
His most overrated. Okay.
I wish I would have picked on, like one of his earlier songs, like Sail
Save
On,
me. Save me.
or the sailing song. But no, that was probably about the only thing I remember writing that was more like on a song, and we had to sing it. We had not sing it, but we had to go up in front of class. We all had to present our stuff in
You
front
know,
of class.
you know what I'm really happy about? Actually, I can't even lie. You know what I'm really happy about?
What's that?
The thing I'm happy about is that, like, where I was able to take my writing. I've published a lot of poems online, some on different sites, but mostly on this one main site. I I've posted it at my social media. I've have a channel on YouTube about it. A lot of my friends know about it. I've been published in a college poem book. I've been featured in a contest. I've been featured in the newspaper. Like, I feel pretty good about my writing, but I still want to get better. There's still a lot that I want to edit on my earlier work because, like, some of them now that I read them when I'm older, I'm like, was I an angsty teen? I can't read any of this shit. Like, but when you finally mature and you look back, you're like, damn, I was a stupid teenager. Because you really think you're invincible and you think you have the world figured out and you think you're smarter than your parents. Yeah, you just want some freedom, but it feels like everything's constricting, everything's changing. Life isn't fair. You don't even know what life is. You don't even realize how bad it is, but you think you do. You're so certain that you do. That's how I first started writing. I didn't like where my life was going. I didn't like the direction that the world was heading in. I thought it would get worse, and it has. It very much has. And we're talking like 2011. I started writing again. I quit after sixth grade, which was 2009. So I didn't write for 2 years. And then one random April in 2011, I wrote that Abraham Lincoln poem, and my teacher was praising how good it was. It still hangs up on her wall to this day, actually.
That's pretty good.
And yeah, I just it just started from there, and I've written quite a bit, so I'm pretty proud of that. But when you go through the motions and you're having a bad day, you don't really think of the stuff you accomplished, even if you don't think of it as an accomplishment. I just viewed it as first as a way to relieve my inner emotions. I didn't have friends to talk to. School friends only wanted to see you at friend at school, and that's all I had. So I started writing, and then things got better from there, and I kept going. And then after high school, I stopped writing for about a year, and then I saw a quote by Christopher Hitchens one day doing an English paper. It was in March, and just like that, I started writing again. And that's when I started writing more maturely, like Man of the World, that good poem. You like that one?
Yeah.
I wrote that one, and then I wrote Kill Me Please. I was proud of that one too. And then I started expanding my mind. At first, I tried being cocky with it because I thought I was so much smarter than I was. I was like, wow, I'm so smart. I feel like he just awoke in me. And I was trying to challenge people the way he did, but the difference was is that I was being a dick about it, and he wasn't. Like he was an actual challenger. I wasn't. I was kind of trying to copy him, but I was like, nope, can't do that. I only did it for one day. I was like, nope, can't do that. That was embarrassing as shit. But no, I eventually figured out my thoughts and how I felt throughout college and what I feel now later in life. I feel like I have more of a grasp on my emotions, so it makes me feel like I don't need to write. Like I'm strong enough to handle whatever life throws at me. I have been so far, even if sometimes it feels like you push to your max, you still chose the conscious effort to keep moving forward. So it has to be something.
Yeah. It does.
But yeah, besides that, we started off in a weird way, but I guess we wanted to give a little small update, some tidbit information. I feel like our previous videos have been more professional and more updated, but we just wanted to give like a more behind the scenes uh, feature. Oh, this is some good stuff. Indica rules for any smokers out there. Indica is amazing. Don't do drugs, kids. Uh, but no, I just been trying to work a lot. The economy was tough after I left FedEx in December of 2024. I honestly thought this is how stupid I feel now, but I honestly thought by the it wasn't like that. The only jobs that would take you are the desperate ones, the ones that you don't want to work at, the ones that are super bad and underpaying. And I had a few hits here and there, and I wasn't able to work for 6 months. And that was a long time. And I got in like 15K within that. I paid off two credit cards so far, but it made me realize like I don't want to have credit cards anymore. I just want to pay off the ones that I owe on and then just be done with it. You know, have my Cash App card, have my debit card, and just be done with it. You know, just have a savings, and that way I don't have to worry about credit card debt ever again. And if I ever wanted to build my credit score, get a loan. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't I don't view it as a bad thing. So it just kind of depends. You know, whenever I write now, I feel like I gotta be in the mood for it. I like my process has changed. I used to force myself to get into like a bad mood or like some kind of like negative thought because like I felt like that was the only way that I could write anything good. The only way that I could relate to people. It wouldn't be through happiness because I wasn't happy in life. Nor was I mature. I was only like 15, 16. So my worldview was shattering and changing, going from relationship to relationship and trying to build your life back up, you know, going through depressions and just the angsty teenage shit that you don't ever really want to go through again. So now I just write whenever I'm just in the mood or feel anything. You know, it's been that way for a couple years. Something will stick, and it sounds so good in my head if I write it down. And then, you know, sometimes it doesn't even like stick. It just, I just gotta do it. I just gotta do it. Ah, I also started growing a beard. You know, I'm thinking of growing like a Civil War type beard, like Robert E. Lee, or just like you know, like a big old Abraham Lincoln mustache. You know, shave the front of it. But uh, no, it's just kind of where I've been, just rebuilding myself and just trying to do the best that I can and see what another terrible market is going to bring if I try to go to another job than the one I got now. I need more hours, and this job just isn't really giving them. So, got to make a few decisions that I've been um, putting off. But what about you, Greg? What have you been up to the last year that we haven't been able to update?
Well, since the last time, like I said, I've been working on my master's degree for about 2.5 years. Yeah, that takes a lot of time. It's a lot of writing. I had probably in each class probably had 4 to 6 papers to write each class. So I basically build up my writing skills, and then the capstone I had to write up. That was over 100 pages, and I didn't think I was gonna get through that. That was tough. You know, you got to do all the, the literature review and all that stuff, and have like 50 references, and it took a lot of time, but that was a 16-week class, and but I learned a lot. But I had a great instructor. You know, he kind of worked with you, and it kind of makes you feel like you were writing a book. And he was right there to help you, and I learned so much from that. As for work, I did work at the time when I was doing that. I was on midnights. I
Yeah,
worked
I remember
at
you
a.
always get so mad.
I don't do well on midnights.
You're like that fucking Vicky that bitch is always at my
Oh
ass.
my God, we had the supervisor. Oh my God, she was such a perfectionist. She was real nice, don't get me wrong, but when it came to how they are, they're nice outside of work, but then when they're in work, it's always they're a bitch.
I
And
don't know.
she
That just sounds
was.
like kicking stones, you know.
Um, and well, what happened was our supervisor went to a different. Um, they took some of his roles away, so they threw it on this supervisor that and now it was basically doubling her workload, and I think she got a little upset about that and took it on the rest of us.
Well, that's not the sign of a good leader, but that's
No, and she's, from my understanding, she's still doing the leader of us, and I was a security officer
Well, the
for.
funniest part is that all the other ones were quitting too. They're-
That was when I'll be honest with you, when I came into there, there was some weird crap going on. There was a lot of oh my gosh, I couldn't even tell you. There was like four different things going on, and there was just so much drama. And I just came in, I'm just brand new, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? People are telling me, don't trust this person, don't trust that person, don't, be careful when you work with this person. And I'm like, what am I getting myself into? And I used to work there way back in early 2000, actually 2000 to 2002, and totally different atmosphere. And I come here and I thought, okay, I'll be kind of the same. And I'm like, whoa, this is. And we had like four or five people leave right about the time I left. There was about three or four people that left right after me, and which I didn't know. I thought they would just stay and deal with it, but I liked the job what I was doing. Walking around, I was making sure buildings were locked up, and I enjoyed it. You're by yourself. There's nobody there to tell you what to do until your supervisor comes in to relieve you in the morning, and that's where you get her crap. And but I had to leave that. Midnights were killing me. If you ever not done midnights, it's a challenge. If you end up getting a job at midnight, it takes a lot out of you. Your whole day's upside down. You have to reverse everything and figure out when to sleep. And I was one I slept in just kind of like a couple hours, and I just let me come back to sleep, and that's how I did it. Um, After I quit that, I needed a break. I took a break, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not working right now, but I have a lot of money saved, and I do volunteer work, which keeps me going, and I do trainings on the side. And people are telling me, this is new to you, that they are trying to push me. I've had a few people tell me you're great at it, you should get back into it, have your own business. So I'm thinking of that going back into consulting. Um, and that's something that I've been thinking about wholeheartedly because I can go anywhere I want. I'm not stationed anywhere. I can work from my home. I can work. I used to have my own business and I had my own office. And you could be, you know, your own boss. You could pretty much do whatever you want, hire whoever you want, and
that's
you're not pressured because it's you. You're the one in charge of it. And I had a business that lasted quite a few years, and it was successful. And but it was building up, and then we moved to Chicago, and that's when I had a business partner. And went a whole different direction. And I just sat there and I said, you know what? I started, got rid of that business and I started on my own. And I was like, with all the crap I went through, I couldn't do it right then and there. But I had a few clients. I mean, I had a couple of clients, but it just didn't go the way I wanted it to go because it got, I don't want to say ruined, but it ruins your reputation, it ruins your feelings. And but I thought about getting back into it and just put all that stuff in the past. They always say I build up a business, I can build it again. Um, and so that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. But also, I'm always open to look for another job that's just on the side to make extra money too. And
who knows? You might not even want to do it.
yeah, It's just right now I'm just taking a break because mentally I'm exhausted with everything that's gone on. But I will tell you, writing and stuff, the stuff that I did, I got into it, it got my mind going a whole different direction, and so thankfully I didn't go back. It was a lot of work to do with masters, but I was kind of like, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? I am the first person in my entire family to have a master's degree. Parents, to my aunts, to my cousins, my grandparents. I'm the first one in the family. So that's an honor, I guess.
I like how you said, I guess. You're like, listen, degrees aren't what they used to
No,
be,
no,
but
and believe me, I'm not there. I'll tell you, I'm not there for the master's degree. I can care less about the damn degree, really. I
how
just
about,
enjoyed.
how,
I just enjoy taking the classes. If I could just take the classes and just get a little certificate that you passed, I'd be happy with that. I don't care. Because to me, depending on what kind of job you're in, degrees are not everything. Yeah, I mean, you can get it for being a surgeon or a dentist, whatever. But some of these jobs, God, there's people that I used to know that are like just only had a high school diploma or a community college diploma. They're better than somebody with a master's degree. I think a lot
it,
of it's up here.
it's all a trap, dude.
Yeah, it's. I think a lot of
A
it's
lot of
coming from
brainwashing, a lot of
your
bullshit.
mind, and your heart, and your spirit. I think that's to me that's where the degree comes from. It's how you look at things, and you know how you get into it. I know it sounds weird, but that's how I look at it. But I'm not
And I'm
saying
pretty sure you know what I was
Oh, I know.
gonna say.
But
Do you view that as my
well, yeah.
family? You know, I hope I heard it helps ladies be less depressed. Yeah, I guarantee there's a lady reading that statistic on Google, and she's gonna be like, I know a fucking man wrote this bullshit. Because there's no fucking way. No, but yeah, you know, we just been really busy. We live two different states away, and we don't really get to see each other. But it's mostly a year thing, and like mainly 3 to 5 days most of the time. So
Yeah.
it just depends, you know. Life's been a lot harder than I thought it would be. I've had a lot of setbacks this year, but I've had some small victories too. So even if you do feel defeated by life, I would still count small victories as something. You got to.
Yeah, I know it's a challenge, and you just gotta. I know it's the hardest thing to do is just think positive, and whenever something goes wrong or negative, just pick yourself back up and go in a different direction and make it positive. That's what I've been told.
Um,
Um, I know sometimes it's not always the answers or it's a challenge, but
no, I mean
um,
the world is always seems to be.
this world is so different. As you can tell, I'm an older person. I grew up in the 80s, and people that are on here, they're watching, you know what I'm talking about. The 80s were different. This world, I honestly, and some of you are probably thinking the same thing. I never knew the world would turn out the way that it is right now. I thought it would just continue and the way it was, yeah, things would change,
You
but
know, one of my favorite fictional characters is Maximus from The Gladiator, 2001. Uh, Russell Crowe. It's a really great movie, and he's a Roman general in it, and he's a student of Marcus Aurelius, who's also the emperor. He's stoic, he's kind, he's protective, he's a great role model if you want to learn stoicism and how to do things the right way as a man. He's just a beautifully written character, even for that time period. He's one of my favorites. Same with Mufasa. Mufasa always reminded me of my own father. Strength. That protective instinct, the strength. Where he can be a jerk, but he can be fair too. Just the perfect blend. There's a lot of love, but there's the lessons you got to learn too, and they do hurt, and sometimes they do make you cry, but they make you stronger. And the point is so you don't repeat those mistakes. So to me, it's like, okay, I can get behind that. The older I get, the more calm I get, the less I want to get into fights, the less anger I seem to have. And then I notice on the other end of the aisle, people that my age, I'm 29, he's 50, so we, the older I get, the more I notice people my age, some of them do have that anger going. Like the older they get, they'll be just like the baby boomers, miserable, always talking shit about the younger generations. I don't want to be one of those people, and I don't think I will be, unless it truly is so stupid compared to our times. Like my great grandmother, before she got dementia this year, she's 93. Like 2 years ago, she was telling me, uh, she told me a lot of things, but she was telling me, she's like, I don't understand dating nowadays. It's just so different. Back in my day, she was born in 1932. She's like, back in my day, a gentleman would need to go up to your daddy and talk to him and take you for a car ride, and you would talk, and he would bring you back at a certain time, and he would know who the young man's parents were too, in case anything ever went wrong. Just things like that.
That was
And
my generation too.
and then she's like, nowadays you got girls like she doesn't. I don't even know if she even knows about any of that stuff anymore. But she's like, girls are half naked nowadays. Like it's not prim and proper like it was back in my day. Because it's really. She didn't try to judge them. She's like, it's just so different than what me and my grandparents were.
Yeah, I know exactly what she's talking
And
about.
the saddest part is that no matter how hot the girls are in this generation, and they are, don't get me wrong, they're hotter than I've ever seen. But I still never thought the new would be. It needs more to me. They're kinder, they're wiser. You can actually learn lessons from their mistakes. If they can impart something to a future generation, maybe that means their life wasn't for nothing. Like I do is leave the world in a better place than you found it. And if you can impart some words of wisdom on some sappy folks, then why not do so?
Yeah, no, I totally agree because when growing up in the 80s, it was the same situation where, the boy would have to go up to the girl and say, can I go out with you? Even notes, we did that too.
Now it's just the
The
hookup.
passing the notes, I
Oh,
always got in trouble for that because not me writing the note, I was always the one in between. Because that was their way of communicating with the girl. And so, no, the way it is today, I don't know where this is all gonna go.
probably
I
AI
like the
robots.
old-fashioned ways.
You know what I want to get at some point? I want to get those Ray Bans, the Meta Ray Bans. They're really cool. I can't even lie. I want to try those.
Try those?
Never heard about them.
No.
Well, you can record with them. You can videotape with them. You can listen to
See
music
how
with
much
them.
I know in technology?
Yeah. Who knows?
It changes every day.
Listen, what
I
if?
can't keep up with it.
What about by the time I'm 50? That's 21 years from now. A lot can change
Yeah.
in 21 years. So to me, the way I think about it is, imagine. what the technology will be then. Like, would people even be dating? Would there be like dating partner robots? Are we going to go to another planet? Are we going to revisit the moon? Is there going to be any cures for cancer or regrowing lost limbs stronger than ever? Curing blindness?
Now it's like the cell phones. When they first came out, it was those
And then,
gigantic.
and then the cell
Now
phone.
look at them.
No, like what if in 21 years, like every camera is like professionally made, so it's gonna make you look your best. Like it's like a movie camera, like the top quality, like
I
perfect.
think your whole life will be on the camera. You're gonna be able. I mean, like
No,
right now.
what if they want to put a chip in your eye, they knock you out, put it in your eye, where you can use Twitter or you can use it from your mind. So even if you get arrested, you can still use the internet. You can still be entertained. But you know why that's a bad idea?
Why?
Because there's so many stupid, so many stupid people out there, so many naive, ignorant, stupid people out there. You can use it during driving.
I mean, I thought about the chips, because we use that in our animals. Like I have a cat. My cat has a chip in it, and I'm thinking the same thing. Down the road they could put a chip on you, and they can see where you're going, and
People are already have chips.
so yeah, you can see where this is going.
I look forward to it actually.
It'd be interesting to see where all this. Yeah, I do admit it's interesting. I know it's kind of scary to
Well,
some
no.
people, but
Let me just end it.
I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Well, let me expand on it and let me end it. I mean, I always do. So what's the point? It's like Rengoku Kanjuro once said. He said that time waits for no man. He said you gotta set your heart ablaze. You don't live forever. That's the beauty of being a human. You get to experience things. They don't lose meaning because you only have a certain time for them. That's what you'll remember when you're older, when you're mature, when your body fails. And it helps your mind stay strong and it humbles you. You want to be a demon. You want to be a god. You don't want to live forever. You don't want to see an end for everything. You still want there to be a new beginning when you go. That's what I meant about the previous generations as well. That's what I view writing as. You only have really a certain amount of time. Because after you turn 21, time flies so fast. And I'm already 29 and I haven't even published my first book yet, but I still had small success with it, so I want to keep moving forward. I'm not an actor, I'm not a singer, but I am a writer and I want to be a writer, even if it's part time. I'd be really happy, excited, ecstatic, successful. To me, that would be successful. Just being in some literary circles, to me, that would be my definition of success. But that's the beauty of life. You have all the time in the world, and you can think about it at work. You get to write about killer frogs, or you can create the new cryptid and maybe make it into a TV show or a series. Depending on how good your work is, you never know. Think about it. J.K. Rowling went from a poor single mother on welfare, almost homeless, to a billionaire that she is today. It's one of the best-selling books of all time. And she didn't start writing Harry Potter until she was 40. So, I don't feel like, I don't feel like a lost time. Remember Charles Bukowski? He was only famous for 24 years, Like,
Yeah.
he didn't start until he was 50. He didn't write his first book until he was 50. Morgan Freeman didn't get his first movie role until he was 50. Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his first movie role until he was 42.
Yeah. So sometimes it hits you later in life.
The JFK, no, not JFK, I'm sorry. The Colonel from KFC, he didn't open KFC until he was 65. The founder of Walmart, he didn't open his first store until he was 42.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's time.
There's always time. It's like when they tell you to go to school, it's never too late. You're good. your degree or whatever. So sometimes things happen later in life.
They do. They do. I don't really have much more to add. I think that's been where we're at. You know, I've had a couple moves this year. I've had a couple car problems. You know, just trouble finding jobs. I was able to renew my license. I was able to renew the registration on my truck. Struggled with money. Yeah, it was just really stressful. But I'm still going. I'm still going strong. Still trying to do what I can do. I'm gonna get my vehicle inspected through a friend of my dad's Wednesday at 10 a.m. Thankfully, hopefully that works out. So that way I don't have to worry about it and I don't have to stress about getting pulled over. But yeah, you know, it's good to be alive. You know, sometimes there's those struggles and there's those dark times, but you know, it depends on what you do to get rid of those. They usually read a wholesome story, you know, where you just want to screw and cute. That's cute. You don't need to be a macho man.
You kind of get yourself into the story and
Yeah, like in this
just shut
spectator.
everything out.
See, like, unlike other people, like
That's a good idea.
when I think of a fictional character, I don't think of myself as a character. Like people like to self-insert.
Yeah.
I don't do that. What I like to do is I like to get immersed as if I'm in the world, but as if I'm a spectator still. But I'm following them around.
Oh,
I'm a
okay.
silent spectator. That's what
No, that makes
But
sense.
you know, we all have. I'll leave you with this: do your duty in all things. You can never do more. You should never wish to do less. Tim,
And I'm Greg.
anything else you wanted to add?
No, what I know I one of the things I'll do on the channel too is I will make some of my writings. I got different types, and then kind of like an audio book kind of thing, and put it on the channel.
Yeah, I think that'd be
And,
cool. I wish you would have
I know
done
it's
that
like
a year ago.
it's not too late. And I will work on that as a
No,
project. And
it's
all
not.
my reports are back in Chicago, so I can't really do it right now. But I will put that and do that and put that on the channel and share 'em.
You know, I hope one day we can come back to this channel and there'd be so many of you, and you can join us on a podcast, or you know, like where it's a live stream and people are
Yeah,
actually
that would be cool.
pitching in. You know, I think that'd be really cool, and you know, like if
Networking and learn from each other.
well, not only that, but like I would kind of fanboy honestly, not like at ourselves, but over the fans. You're like, wow, people actually recognize you. People
Yeah.
actually acknowledge your existence. That'd be the big thing, like the acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is better than respect sometimes because it feels more human. Yeah, acknowledgement, you know, of like all the trials, all the failures, all the pain, all the sadness, all the rage, all the time wasted, all the time waiting. It would all be worth it. I'll be like, hey guys, you know, it's Tim here. How are you? You know, and then you ping in from Chicago or wherever you're at. You're like, yeah, hey, it's Greg. You know, and I think you'd be a lot more talkative. You know, say like, you know, we're on two screens and or we could have a big screen, like, you know, some kind of like room where we could do like the shooting. It'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool, but you know, I'm getting hungry and I'm sure he is. So we're gonna do more videos later. I will talk to you guys later. I'm Tim,
Okay.
and it was nice talking to you guys again. We wanted to do some humor. We didn't always want it to sound so stuffy or overbearing. You know, some lighthearted humor, even if it was boring. It's just how we are, you know, just feeling a little bit more mature and more blessed every day. So have a good night, guys.
Good night.